Hello, good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out. Brixton Metals. Well, it's fitting. Brixton is following Barkerville because I'm going to talk a little bit about the analog that we see on our Atlin project in relative to Barkerville. So Brixton's been around since about 2010. We have 4 projects that we wholly own. That's our forward-looking statement. So Brixton's strategy for this year, which is a little different from last year. We spent about $4 million last year across 4 projects that we have in Canada and the U.S. 2019 is going to be about 1 project, and it's our project called Atlin. It's Atlin Goldfields, which shares many similarities to the Barkerville story, we believe. And the plan really there is to drill up some of the high-grade veins and basically look for new discovery in the Atlin camp. While we have 4 other projects, the plan is to see if we could find a attractive deal in one of our other projects through a JV partner. So a little bit of market facts for us, trading around 17 cents, 90 million shares outstanding, about 3.4 million in the till. Pretty strong management team that we have in place, and we've got a stellar roster of shareholders. McEwen's, Vanna Chan is one of our largest shareholders, Gold 2000, U.S. Global, Pan American, and Hecla Mining, and Desert Mountain Energy. So a good shareholder base to work from. We have capital to go to work in the ground, and we're going to be hit the ground running very soon as soon as the snow peels off up in the Atlin area. So there's our portfolio holdings in Canada, U.S., mainly Canada. Thorn and Atlin look like they're close together, but they're about 120 kilometers apart. So both of those blocks are pretty interesting because they're around about 1,000 square kilometers each. So we have 2 district-scale plays that are wholly owned, and then we have a large porphyry type target in Montana, which is wholly owned, and then a cobalt silver play, 2 past-producing high-grade mines in Ontario that we worked on this last year. So I want to mostly talk about Atlin today, but I just want to give you a quick highlight on the other assets that we have. So if you look at Brixton, I mean, Thorn has been the company's flagship for many years. I'd still say it's a very attractive project. Looks like it's shaping up to be a large porphyry copper gold target, which after 10 years of working it, we're starting to figure that out. But it's quite a compelling target that's available for JV. The Hog Heaven asset is a recent acquisition that we put into the company. When we acquired it, it came with a whole pile of boxes of paper data, so it's taken us about a year and a half or so to put all that data together. But it looks really good as well. It was a past producer. It's got some historical non-43-101 resource on it, but some pretty impressive copper numbers. If you look at that one hole there at Hog Heaven, 18 meters of 4.5% copper, 4.5 grams of gold, and about 745 grams silver. That's about 20 grams per ton gold equivalent over 18 meters. So some pretty impressive base metals given the fact that they actually ignored most of the base metals. The Cobalt camp, we spent probably the bulk of our money last year on that asset. High-grade silver and cobalt camp is one of the famous silver-producing camps in Canada. 500 million ounces of silver came out of the camp. And then, so we've been successful in drilling some impressive intercepts there as well. 6 meters of 4,700 grams silver and about 1/3% of cobalt, which on a gold equivalent equates to about 2 ounces per ton gold equivalent over 6 meters. Didn't get much love for that in the market, unfortunately. But what's interesting is that while we're drilling for cobalt and silver, we tagged into a diamond-bearing kimberlite that we drilled about 25 holes on recently. So we're still waiting for the analytical work to come in from that. So we're intrigued by that, and we'll kind of leave it at there. We'll see what the results come in on that, but it's kind of a fluky discovery that we're kind of intrigued by. So why Atlin? Again, it's fitting that we came after Barkerville because Atlin really is a district-scale gold system. Atlin ran for about, still producing gold out of there, 120 years of gold mining in the Atlin camp, whereas Barkerville Caribou Goldfields ran for about 160. So Atlin is the second largest placer gold camp in there. You can see some of the historical results, 5.5 meters of 509 grams of gold per ton in the yellow jacket. That's like 16 ounces per ton gold. So pretty impressive intercepts. Most of the good work that was done on this was in the late 80s by Homestake Mineral Development Company. They spent a lot of money in the area working on the hard rock. But other than that, really has been not a lot of sustained efforts in trying to find really the source of all this gold. One thing that's I find interesting is that Canada's largest gold nugget ever found came from Atlin, 85-ounce nugget. And there's a whole list of very large nuggets that's come out of this area. So it has road access. It's close to the town of Atlin. In fact, one of our showings is just outside of town. Well-established road network. Homestake Mineral Development Company did put together a small non-compliant resource, 450,000 tons at about 10 grams. So over the last couple years, I guess not too dissimilar to Barkerville, it's taken us 2 years and about 15 deals to get a consolidated 1,000 square kilometer land position. So this gives us the opportunity to make new discoveries in an area where was held by many different operators. This is a snapshot of the simplified geology in the area. We've got at least 4 targets that we've identified that are high grade. These are all showings and had some drilling and trenching on them that have over 10 grams per ton gold. So lots of high grade here to chase down. We collected about 2,500 soil samples last summer. You can see out to the east there, we sampled a fairly large golden soil anomaly, so we want to do some follow-up work on that this year. So the plan really is to get in there, do some more drilling, do some work that will help piece this thing together to get it to, obviously, to a main resource. One of the things that intrigued me on this project was the sheer volume here of placer gold. All those yellow hatched areas are either active or historical placer gold operations. And if you look at the scale bar here, we're talking about a 20, 30, 40 kilometer by 40 kilometer area where there's gold coming out of almost all those creeks. So it's not one deposit, it's probably multiple deposits that's feeding these placer gold operations. And another interesting fact is that some of the gold is very hackly, meaning that it hasn't traveled very far. And it's pretty common to see the host rock rocks that are still attached to the gold nuggets, again supporting that the gold is not transported very far. You can see some of the gold numbers up there from the big nuggets that have been found, 85 ounces out of spruce, 73 ounces out of birch, etc. So lots of big nuggets that have come out of this area. This is an analog that we're starting to build around Barkerville. This is a Atlin camp versus Barkerville Caribou camp on the same scale. There's your 40-kilometer scale bar at the bottom. What's interesting I find about the placer out of the Atlin camp, there's not a lot of historical records, so it only says they produced 600,000 ounces of gold, and some mysterious reason after, I think, 1947 or something, they stopped recording the production, but they keep producing gold out of there every year. So small in comparison to the Barkerville history, but I think on a scale perspective, it's certainly comparable. So one of the things we do commend the Barkerville team that they did very well at. You know, they like to say they cracked the code here. They went from drilling 2 holes out of 10 hitting gold to drilling 9 holes out of 10. So obviously we'd love to replicate that success rate. I think they've done a great job in figuring out the geology and what those controls are. So we'd like to take a page out of their book on that and see if we can replicate that, see if we can start to build up those resources, those vein corridors. So that's going to be our main objective on this project. Here's just some of the gold that's been pulled out of here. We know there's several styles of gold mineralization on the system. There's intrusion-related gold, but it is an orogenic gold system, but very high grade generally, and we think there's potential for multiple discoveries in this area. Here's just some of the numbers on the Yellow Jacket, some pretty impressive holes on here. I won't go into the details. You can pull this off the website. You can look at it at your leisure, but to say that there's some pretty impressive numbers to be had. Obviously, with the drilling this year, we hope to be pulling some of these numbers. This is an interesting target for us because it's fairly early, and one of the things that we found that we went there this year and collected as part of our soil campaign, but based on the historical work, lots of people told us, well, don't take soil samples in Atlin, it doesn't work. Well, this is a good example of an area that actually does work, and we've got some very strong golden soil numbers. We pulled a 293 gram gold sample last year. It's a 9 ounce per ton gold sample from the LD showing. So this is one of our 4 drill targets for this year, and it's open-ended along this trend. So we're definitely going to be doing some more work in this area. So next steps for us, the catalyst really is to complete. We're still chewing through the 230 assessment reports that are available in the camp. So I want to continue to work on that. Really further define additional targets to drill. And the plan is to get in there with a RAB drill as soon as we can, and then follow up with some core drilling. We'll look at about another 5,000 soils to be collected this summer. The good thing about Atlin, unlike most of Northwest BC, is that right now there's only like 5-6 inches of snow there. So we believe we can actually get a winter camp set up there and actually run this program all year round, which is unlike a lot of Northwest BC projects. So that's going to be our objective, is to have a year-round campaign. We're going to be looking to get the results out to the market as soon as we can. And then obviously look to try and monetize one or more of our other assets. We think Brixton represents a compelling target. We do have a booth here, 522 is the number. Come by and see us, and happy to chat. And I want to thank you for your attention and happy to answer any questions.